Welcome to Fine Tooth Combs podcast. My name's Janine, my voice sounds like this.
My name's Matt, my voice sounds like this.
My name's Janine, my voice sounds like this.
My name's Bunny, my voice sounds like this.
And I'm Jake, my voice sounds like this.
A smaller crew on the microphone today. That's because the other people are watching the children. So we watched, tonight we watched From Beyond, another Stuart Gordon movie. But before that, perhaps we can get into our previous minutes of our last film, which was Re-Animator. Okay, so I listened to the audio of Re-Animator. Holy shit, you guys. I've never heard a more like sort of chaotic, like we sound like we've got heat stroke. It's insane. It was so hot that day, and just it's sort of weird. I yell at babies twice. One of those for humor, and that estimate might be high, but it's crazy. And that's the one that people are probably going to listen to if this ever, because that's a really popular Jeffrey Combs movie. So.
Yep.
So close.
There you go.
You almost said Combs.
I know, I didn't think of it. So that's great. So that happened. It was one of the hottest days here in Vancouver.
Yeah, 35 degrees, I think.
So it was so humid too.
That's hot for us.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
can
good.
hear every fan in the background, and that's just going blah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Were
that
we
happened.
sticking every time we moved?
Yeah, we're still sticking. The human.
Okay, so that was a lot of fun, but that was generally a good movie. I think we
Yeah.
enjoyed that when
Yeah.
all of us were back together.
There's an upward trajectory
Yeah,
that seems to be appearing, which is lovely.
Jeffrey as the star
Yeah.
on that first one. And so then we had, what did we eat today, buddy, for our wonderful treat?
So today we did peanut butter and jelly pie from the Minimalist Baker. She's a fantastic blog. I took her recipe. It's minimalistbaker.com if you're interested. I modified it a bit, but I went for something that looked gory because this clearly looked like a body horror movie. I didn't think I'd seen it. And then when I looked at the case, I was like, this is going to be gory. So I went with something that had like a strawberry coulis on top with a coconut milk fluffed up sort of peanut butter date base. I think it was tasty.
It was delicious.
It was delicious and it looked gory.
It did look like
Kind of gory.
blood and guts
Yeah.
or whatever.
So
So
it meets the description. It was
Yeah,
delicious.
yeah.
was the last one you made also from the Minimalist Baker? Minimalist? That's
What
hard
did
to
we
say
have
that.
last time? Do you remember?
It was like a chocolate thing. I don't remember.
We make a lot from the Minimalist Baker, which
Yeah.
is why I feel like I need to. If any,
No,
for
it
the,
was
the twos of people
Last
listening
time
to
was
It was
this.
the Jello, peach Jello.
The peach jello,
the
right?
peach cream
Oh,
cheese.
peach jello, yeah.
Oh,
that
that's
was just
right.
like a Pinterest find. But for the first one of these, one of the practice ones we did,
I made one. I made that Minimalist Baker, the chocolate vegan.
yep. And I made a peanut butter. The very first one we did, I made the peanut butter cup pie from Minimalist Baker. Yeah, we love her. And,
So go there.
Yeah, so go
And
there.
Get food. That's where we get most of our recipes
Yeah.
for these things. So do you guys have anything else you want to talk about from the previous shows or anything like that?
Let's dive into this because it was good.
Yeah,
It was a
okay.
good
So,
movie.
We'll dive right into the comb over. Okay, and Matt, you're steering this ship as always. You seem to have a steel trap memory.
Captain,
for
my
those
captain?
things. Yeah, Captain, my captain. Start us off, would you, sir? Do you recall the beginning? Because I vaguely do.
We cut in to the attic of a large, somewhat old-looking house.
It's a Lovecraft house.
Yeah, it's definitely Lovecraftian.
Just sorry to interrupt, but the very first scene is Jeffrey at a computer
Yeah.
grimacing. With his
Grimacing.
mouth. Yeah, like putting a pencil to the mouth and grimacing. So giving you exactly what you want straight out the gate.
Yeah,
Giving Jamie what he wants straight out of the gate.
he's programming a control program in BASIC
Yeah.
on a
I like that you noticed that.
monochrome IBM PC 5150.
Nice.
Oh, I love that Van Halen album.
Yeah, it's great. I think they were referring to the amp, but
I believe they're referring to 5150 as like a Section 8 when you 5150 somebody. And that way you determine that they're not, they don't have the capacity to make decisions for themselves, so you get them institutional. I think that's where 5150
But
comes
that's
from.
the name of Eddie Van Halen's amp as well.
Hey, how
right?
does
I
that
think
tie
it-
back to the
yeah,
coding?
I think that all sprung from that.
Whoa,
You
I'm
said
already-
5150. We're getting a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting a little hot right off the bat. And he's working, this control program is for a piece of hardware called the Re-Animator.
Yeah, his name is Dr. Crawford Tillinghast. One of the many amazing names in this movie.
Yeah, it's a really plus name.
Crawford Tillinghast.
And it's got all sorts of crazy 60s hardware hooked up to it. It looks,
Tuning forks.
yeah, four pairs of tuning forks on top. And he's manning this whole thing by himself. He's turning it on, and then the
He seems
purple.
frazzled.
Yeah, he's been working on this for
Been
days.
working all night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
His Acme kit just came in and he can't wait to get it together.
Yes.
It kind of
Yeah.
looks like a giant one of those globes that you touch and the electricity
But
comes
you get at
through.
Spencer's
Yeah,
Gifts.
Spencer's
Yeah, it looks like a
Totally,
giant
but it's
one
not
of
shaped
those.
like a penis, so it's not from Spencer's Gifts.
That's true.
Or was that San Francisco? What was the shop before?
yeah, San Francisco and
Francisco,
Canada.
Is that what did that become Spencer's Gifts?
No,
The-
two
Well,
separate.
Spencer's has lots of penis things, but it also has other.
They're both the same store. One was the American subsidiary, I think. I don't know if they're actually related, but they're the same exact store. They sell the same products. One was
Don't
US.
think they are owned by the same person.
Okay, so check that out the list. We talked about stores that sell penis-shaped things. So yeah, it looks really hokey, but in an awesome way.
Yeah.
I think like the
Yeah.
setup, like the old computers, the old screens.
There's like tuning forks.
Tuning
four
forks
tuning
and lots of
on
it, like we said, like they got their money's
Cords
worth out of the
everywhere.
$15 maroon gel that they use because
Yeah,
everything's
everything's
purple
purple
and
and
red.
magenta.
Smoke, mild smoke, but mostly just purple light.
And he flips this contraption on, and then all of a sudden his brain starts to like, he looks like something's going on in his brain.
He makes the like my brain hurts face.
Yeah, he definitely does. He emotes it with his mouth.
You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
It's kind of like a bad pointy poop face.
I was just gonna say it's a pointy poop face. There you go.
Pointy poop face?
You know, like when it hurts on the way out, like it's like, what did I eat? Glass?
It's sharp.
No, I heard what you said. Why did you say it?
That's the face he was making.
It's hard to get out and it's painful.
Why did I choose almonds?
So not only does he have the pointy poop face, he also,
Flax that does
he
that.
also sees little flax.
That would get you good.
He also sees little interdimensional worms in the air.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
bitten right on the face.
Yeah,
On the
right
first
on the
photo.
face.
We're like 2 minutes
Penis-shaped
into the movie.
worms.
Yeah, they are
Glistening.
big.
Little sperms. They're little sperms.
Glistening.
Like a planaria almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the things from Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look like worms. They got teeth, and they make a circular bite, kind of like.
They swim like an eel.
Yeah.
So he runs
Yeah,
down.
they kind of look like lampreys.
Yeah,
Like alien lampreys.
There's anything that's sort of gross and vaguely phallic, that's what they look like. So just picture that, and you've got it.
With
Perfect.
teeth.
Yeah, so he's an assistant, so he runs down the stairs to,
To a doctor.
what the hell's his name? Pretorius.
Dr. Pretorius.
Dr. Pretorius, which is another one of the amazing names.
And he's hanging out in his sex dungeon
In a kimono.
In a kimono, which is as he is like to do.
Amazing.
And
Incredible amount of chest there, just
Yeah.
something you don't see anymore.
Yeah.
he's just frothing.
It seems to have been shaved in a certain way. So
It almost
only
looks like
covers
they
his
sprayed
pectoral
the
muscles.
Yeah,
on.
it was
Yeah,
the
later
spray
on,
on
yeah,
there.
you see him sort of more naked, and it looks like he has sort of a Robin Williams level of hair coverage, rest in peace, up top here, but everywhere below it looks like it's been waxed.
Yeah.
It's like they shaved his pubes and then just glued it up top to make him look more manly.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper.
That's a Hollywood trick. I did read a book about Hollywood, and they said, if you want someone to look more manly, you shave off their pubic hair.
And then
you
glue it to their
glue
chest.
it to
Yes.
their chest. Shoulders, he had a little bit of shoulder things to really give it that authentic look. Like an
Yeah.
Italian father who's disappointed with you.
And he's so happy that the resonator's actually
Oh
working.
yeah, he's super close to it when they turn it back on. He's like, "Can't you feel it? I can see everything." And it's like, "What are you talking about? We've got to shut it off." Jeffrey Combs says that, whatever his fucking character. Crawford Tillinghast.
Tillinghast, yeah.
Remind us what we say if what happens if Jamie says the name out.
If he says Coombs, we get to punch him.
In the arm.
This is exciting.
Yeah, I know. Bunny really just relishes in it. She's loving it for some reason.
So he's really excited about this whole thing, right? And he's feeling the
But
brain feels.
lustfully crazy way. It's not like it's a happy time. He looks all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we see what room he came out of?
Yeah,
What-
sex dungeon room.
Right. So there was the sex dungeon.
That's just his room though.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
that's his room.
He
It's a
totally
sex
lives in
dungeon.
a sex room.
So blessed.
What do you think I'm made of money? You think I get 2 rooms?
Okay, so he won't turn it off, and basically what happens from our standpoint, we see, does his head come off? What
Well,
happens?
like a bigger creature from beyond latches onto him and starts gnawing on his head.
Right.
And then Jeffrey runs downstairs because he can't turn it off. He's gonna go for the.
Well,
for
it kind of short-circuited. The computer explodes, and then he makes a comment. He's like, "It's running itself."
Yeah. Then we don't see most of the next part because it's from the viewpoint of the neighbor.
Yeah.
The actress's name is Bunny, but her dog's name in the movie is Bunny.
I was very confused.
And it's her sort of wandering up, seeing him, and she sees Jeffrey put an axe
Through the door,
She's
yeah.
like, "Oh my God, he's coming to kill me!" And then he's running behind her. She thinks he's running after him, and then he runs past her, trying to get out of the house before she does. And there's explodey. I don't remember.
Just sort of shorty.
Yeah, they don't explode
shorty,
yet.
window
But she's
breaking.
called the cops, so
I gotta
he
talk to the guy.
runs right into the arms of the cops, who 5150 him, essentially.
You believe he's Van Halen? We should really look that up because it'd be great if we were wrong the whole time.
But they take him to the hospital.
They find him decapitated and like, what the fuck? So obviously they arrest him
Yeah.
for.
Well, they arrested him as soon as he came out of the house. They didn't even know who
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
what he had done.
No, he's running away.
He
Did he
just
have blood
comes
on him?
running away,
Yeah,
and they just flap him over the car. He had blood, but it could have been his own.
Yeah.
They didn't stop to ask questions, see if he was okay. I think
Arrest first,
commentary
find
on
out later.
today's police state.
Yeah. I said it was science fiction Ferguson.
Yeah, science fiction Ferguson.
Well,
Topical.
that's fun. Thanks for bringing it there.
There was no cigar.
We're just trying to make it relevant, okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
So much.
Overuse of police power.
Yeah, I know.
So
Then we
as
get
we
an
spin out from overuse of police power to
an intro sequence.
an intro sequence. All right.
And then-
From beyond some Italian names is probably going to be shitty. Music by some guy I can't remember.
And we're in a mental institution.
Yeah, directed by Stuart Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, first guy who did Re-Animator, brought back Jeffrey, the female lead, and somebody else for this movie. Another one of his crazy bloody horror. Hey, let's use a lot of gore and sexual content to really skeeve you out. He's great like that. He's like a John Waters sort of horror. Well, not that way, but in this way, and wanting to use his content to sort of skeeve you and creep you out a bit. He doesn't. This content isn't the same as John Waters, but I think their intent is the same thing.
It's sort of
It's,
they don't- they
yeah,
never
one
let
word
you
to describe the movie is skeevy or pervy.
Very curvy.
Wet.
Wet.
It's gross.
It's very wet. It's moist.
I
It's
will-
moist.
Oh, it's so moist.
I will say though, like the direct pervy scenes compared to like the last movies, there was a little less in this one.
Oh, you mean there wasn't.
Well, like the direct, like this is obviously pervy, like cop a feel.
There was sex
reach
done
down there.
The
Yeah.
sex
There was-
tension, though.
There was a few, it's
Yeah.
definitely still there. The theme doesn't go away, but it's not as blatant.
You're referring to in the previous movie the implied severed head cunnilingus.
Yes, that was a good one.
Yeah,
that was
it was-
fairly blatant.
Was there anything else that was really nasty and blatant in Re-Animator? I don't remember.
In Re-Animator, I don't.
But that one sticks out, so I'll totally take your point.
That
This
was-
one
that was pretty
seemed
bad.
a little
That was a
bit
big one.
more. This one was way more gruesome than Re-Animator, even though Re-Animator is pretty gross too.
Yeah,
I've been pucking on my ass, basically.
I think that they, you get the S&M on this hand, and then on the other
But-
one is more.
And I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, not to cut you off
Yeah,
either.
sure.
But like, it's all penises. It's all penises.
There's a lot of phallic
Imagery.
references and
Like
imagery.
elongating fingers and like
Lots of
interdimensional worms
penetrations.
and a little. We'll get to it, but the third
The
eye.
dongle.
Yeah, the dongle. That's a good name.
It kind of looks like a puppy's tail sometimes. It's odd. Okay, so
Okay.
basically he has been committed.
Yep.
And there's a female doctor, Dr. Catherine McMichaels. She was the woman from Re-Animator.
Yep, with a much better haircut, at least
Yes.
at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Very striking woman. She's great in B movies. She's been in a bunch of them. Yeah, Barbara Crampton is her name. But he gives his story of what he says happens. I saw interdimensional beings, blah, blah, blah. He's like, obviously this guy's a crazy nut job. But they notice something when they do a brain scan.
Yeah, they need to do a scan on him. They're like, okay, we're going to do the scan. They find out that his
Pineal.
pineal gland is quite large, and then she makes some references to other sections of the brain is growing into it.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff that Janine says doesn't really make any sense. Like, sort of.
It does not really exist.
Yeah, but it moves the plot forward and that it's growing. So she wants to go. How does this happen? So she wants to go back to the house.
Well, that's what she suggests. This is what we should do. We should go recreate this experiment that ended with somebody being decapitated.
Yeah.
And something that we know nothing about. And when the only person we have to explain what happened is completely loony, like what he's explaining, no way. So let's recreate this.
Yeah.
Release him into my care,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take him with one, I guess they assigned him an officer, back to the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds good.
so it's her. He can either stay in a mental institution for life,
Or
go with her back to this with her and her
Bubba.
Brownie Blackman.
Detective Bubba Brownlee, penned by Ken Forey, who's a bunch of stuff. It is strange that maybe we're just overly sensitive that the only
Person
the
of color.
lead of color
Yeah.
in this is has a strange name, Bubba Brownlee.
They all have strange names.
Yeah.
For real, but
His is almost descriptive.
Well, I mean, have we ever mentioned here that he's a police officer, and yet she never calls him officer. She calls him
No.
Bubba.
She calls him Bubba.
Yeah, but he was investigating Victoria's death, and he's going along with her for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Protection of sorts. So,
Yeah.
and at this point, everybody thinks Combs' character.
Why am I spacing?
I am
Gillington.
Oh,
Dr.
Crawford
Col-
Tillinghast.
Tillinghast. They still believe he's quite nuts. They just want to push him into doing like the female doctor or whatever. So she's convinced everybody that this is how we can cure this man. Not only can we find out what's happened, but it could cure him. It could make him a better
There's no
person.
idea how.
And then
There's no idea.
There is
Very
She's talking out her ass.
Yeah.
There's a dissenting voice, isn't there? There's like that nurse, you see Nurse Bosch. or
She's supposed to
something.
be like a bad
Dr.
person, but
Bosch.
she's really just like the voice of reason.
Yeah, she's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't, encourage this guy's, Dr. Block, sorry, was
Yeah.
her name, yeah. Shouldn't encourage this guy. But I believe, actually, now that I think about it, Carolyn Purdy Gordon, I think that's Stuart Gordon's wife.
Oh.
I'll look that up, perhaps I'm talking out my ass.
She
but
was really played as this sort of straight-laced doctor who just wants to do things by
the nurse
Lock
Ratchet,
him-
like the
yeah.
one that...
Lock him up and medicate him.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. But, compared to what we know about what they're going to do, she seems like the voice of reason
Yeah.
in hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
where are we?
So when we
Back
get
to the
back to the house, they go up to the attic, and Catherine wants to look at the machine, and she's like, "Oh, what happened to it? What do we have to do to make it work again?" And then,
Let's reattach the tuning fork. It's on the
the
floor.
tuning fork's on the floor. He knocked it off with an axe during the incident with the monster eating.
Well, he said that's the only way he could get it to turn off. He had to
he had to
sabotage
knock
the
it off.
machine.
That's right, yeah.
But this was after he tried to kill her with an axe, and Bubba stopped him.
Was he trying to kill her, or was he trying to...
I think the machine. He was trying to hack
the
into the machine.
but she was standing nearby it, and they just sort of like think nothing of it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's just reliving what happened to him, so don't worry about it. Let him go.
It's really weird. They just sort of brush off anything of consequence.
Yeah.
I think.
And because his PC is broken now, and he can't program in BASIC anymore.
PC. It's the size of his house.
Now he has to manually operate it into on and off mode. Which why wouldn't you do that anyway?
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah.
He
By
rigs
flipping
up
a big switch.
he rigs up his interocitor to work with one flick. And so now it's just powered by one little hinge.
The
on
science lever.
Yeah,
it's
it's the
the
science.
It's one of those ones like
We're doing
I
science.
don't know, it's an off position, then you clip it up. It's amazing because every time, no matter what situation, when you push that up, lightning is going fucking everywhere. Yeah.
And you can never reach it in a case of emergency. You're
Oh,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
1 inch away from it.
Yeah, I wish they would just put it up on a shelf somewhere, so you had to sort of
Stand over
to
the-
turn it on.
Above a washing machine.
Why did we put this here?
So, he basically rewired the whole house. There's all these cables going through
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
He rewires that. They're gonna put it back up again. He doesn't want to, but they turn the machine back on.
Well,
Yeah.
but not after not
This
get.
is a good idea. He just ends up going along with it.
Tits. The answer is
It's
tits.
basically if he resists though and says he doesn't want to do this, they'll just throw him in the loony bin.
For the rest of his life, they said, you will
they keep
die
saying
here.
that, yeah.
It still goes back to tits.
Yes, and
He has
he
to
thinks-
2 sets of tits.
Yeah, then we
Golden ring
we
tickets,
forgot to touch on the
gunning for kids.
doctor's reason for this, that she thinks this sort of connection or whatever this weird thing is the cause of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
That comes
Right,
later.
yeah,
That
she's-
comes
No,
later.
that's at the beginning. It's
Oh,
she
yeah?
says she's a little nuts. So she's like, I think that maybe when they're having breakfast in the house and fixing everything, she thinks that it might be a cure for schizophrenia.
But that comes after the first legal
There's
thing.
so many
Oh,
ways.
that's true. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah.
So
You're skipping ahead.
I apologize. Yeah.
Bubba makes dumplings. They eat dumplings,
Yeah.
and Crawford fixes the
And
machine.
that
okay.
was something else because a lot of times it's not an uncommon thing to see a meal being made. I think, and I'm pretty sure that is the first time I've seen dumplings
Maybe
being made in a movie.
and quite explicitly.
Yeah, it was very.
Yeah.
We're not talking what kind of dumplings. We're not talking Chinese dumplings or what have you. We're talking
Like
old
chicken
Chicken
dumplings.
dumplings
Yeah, so
too.
you make a chicken stew or what have you, and then you cook flour and simple stuff on top in the same container.
Yeah.
Bubba's a good cook.
Yeah,
He's a really
Bubba's a
good
good
Home,
cook.
homey food.
In this house, they
That's a
just.
stark contrast to the horrors to come.
Oh my God! We forgot to mention when they get into the house, that we see the chalk outline and it's missing the head.
It
because
goes
was
around the
twisted up.
stump of the
There's
spinal
cool
column.
Little touches like that make it
Very comical.
goofy.
Yeah.
There's some time where like it zooms in on Jeffrey's face in a really dramatic thing, and the musical sting is like a wind chime going
Like it's pleasant.
strange and out of place. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that you're spot on that.
And the lip acting is really impressive.
Yeah. So basically, they turn it on.
They turn on the machine and
Sign switch, and then they see it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bubba gets bitten by one of these jellyfish things that wasn't around the first time, but it is this time.
Yeah.
Well, he gives them very specific instructions. Do not move.
And what's the first thing they do, Jake?
Nobody stays still. Not even Jeffrey's character. Nobody.
Not even the
From
person.
the second they flick the switch, they're all just chilling, moving around, looking at each
Talking
other,
to each
scratching
other.
their ass, doing whatever.
They're not cowering in fear.
Nobody's
or like,
scared. Even the guy who's already lived through it and he's trying to build this all up is like some bet if it comes.
Yeah.
Don't move. If it comes, I'm turning this switch off.
And then of course it comes, right?
Of course.
What happens? All the glass breaks, the lights turn off.
Well, Bubba notices the little jellyfish character.
Yeah. Don't forget the mid-range in jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything turns purple.
Yeah. And then once Bubba's been bitten, all of a sudden all the glass in the room breaks, and that's supposed to
And
be a
then
sign.
Jeffrey says it's coming.
Yeah, it's a sign that it is coming.
Yeah, and Dr. Catherine is starting to feel the effects of this pineal gland.
Everyone's getting a little frisky.
A little frisky.
Well, there was one more point that we kind of glossed over, is that when she was talking about it, she was saying that the pineal gland is also responsible for.
That comes later.
Oh, it
Skip
does
ahead.
come later.
Yeah.
Oh,
Skip it ahead.
so many times they turn this machine on.
They did. They only have so many
So the
seconds.
first thing that happens is Jeffrey Combs says it's coming, and then we see Dr. Pretorius. Well, we hear him first. He says,
Yeah,
out of
welcome
the
home.
gloom, welcome
Yeah.
home.
Welcome home,
And
Crawford.
everyone dramatically is, no,
Yeah,
it's Jeffrey.
and this is where we see him naked. Could have been a man has because it's Stuart Gordon.
Looking like a
And-
normal human, though.
Yeah, with the strange hair configuration. It's like a hair system that's gone horribly
He's kind of got wonky on one side though, hasn't he?
No, it's the
No.
one where it's like a Mr. Wiggle,
That
but
has a
you know those
little-
little things, the magnetic
There's
things that
so
you put a
many.
beard on it?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they put everything up top and
Right,
they don't
right,
put
right.
anything
Yeah.
on the bottom.
Yeah, and then he approaches and he says he's been taken to the other side and he's alive.
Yeah, so
and well.
touch me if you need to trust your senses or love me. He touches him
Yeah.
and
And his
It
hand
turns, like,
sinks into the
gooey.
flesh.
yeah, pretty much
right.
like goes right into him.
And his face starts to peel off.
And he says, I'm
Oh,
coming many
yeah, so this
forms.
is, someone made the point, I think Jake made this point, so his head is exploding and peeling off. So what does Detective Bubba decide to do? He goes into his wide stance and empties an entire gun into this thing that is exploding.
Yeah, and then
Why?
Why?
Waste
is
of
a-
bullets.
I did that. No, I don't
Yeah.
think you did.
No, yeah,
and
it's...
Jeffrey has the presence of mind to turn off the machine at this point
Again.
after the gun is emptied.
Okay, yeah, so then we're at a point where we've had basically a creature from the other side come and their head explode. They empty a bunch of stuff, all this crazy shit. So what does the doctor say? Does he say that we're
We'll
not
go
going to turn
downstairs
this
to the kitchen and debrief.
Oh,
right?
yes,
And talk
yeah.
about how crazy everything is. And
I can't
Bubba
believe
mentions he's got a
self-care.
hard on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, well, does that explain why I've got such a hard on?
This dialogue is actually really good.
Yeah.
And goofy during these scenes when they're in the kitchen talking.
And this is where the doctor speculates that an activation of the pineal gland might be causing schizophrenia. She
Yes,
thinks
here
that
we
it enlarges everyone's pineal gland, and maybe people with schizophrenia are seeing. She says it like that too. Schizophrenia. So weird.
And basically, so no, you're crazy. We're getting out of here. Sleep it off.
And she's like, no,
Yeah.
we have to try it twice.
She wakes up, just DTF, goes back to the machine and
She
turns it
started to around there though. While she's not saying anything, she's got the look on her face. Like she feels the power. She needs to know more. She needs to it's beyond. She's making excuses for why she wants to do it, but she really just wants to know.
And Crawford even says that, like, you've got the same look as Pretorius.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that look in your eyes.
She's crazed. She's
Yeah.
becoming crazed. That's important.
I've seen this
Yeah.
look before in the streets.
Oh my
later.
god!
You're
He
skipping
does say
ahead,
that.
too.
He does say that. That's where Bubba's from, the streets. My god.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens next?
Well, she turns it back on, and Crawford comes back again, much more mutated.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
half of him is all buggity boo and screwy. And
Oh, she's in this flowing nightgown.
she's in the nightgown that only people in movies and your grandmother wear. Yeah.
completely translucent in the
Yeah.
red
So
light.
he grabs her, of course, tearing off the nightgown, so we see boobies because
Horror movie.
horror
Yeah.
movie.
Many fingers are with elongated jelly
Strange,
fingers.
elongated penis fingers, and he's basically going to take his mind with his little dippity-doo.
His
little,
head penis.
His head penis and where his third eye would be. So they are going to, they basically can't get to the machine now to shut it off once,
It keeps shocking them when they get too close.
Bubba and Crawford. So they have to go down to the basement to try to cut the power, and this is where they made a fucking awesome costume, like worm monster.
Well, it kind of almost looks like the Dune worm or something
Yeah,
like
like a
that.
sandworm, the shy halou.
A lamprey.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The shy halou. Fuck, I love you.
So it's really cool looking effect, and it's it basically gets a hold of Jeffrey and looks like it's gonna start eating him, but Bubba manages.
It's a penis.
Yeah.
Well, it does start eating him. He gets down to his knees.
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
time Bubba
and then
manages
she's
to
getting
finally...
like taken to the other side. Bubba turns off the power, and that stuff disappears.
Yeah, it all just
So
Jeffrey has been stripped of all of his hair, however, and his
Looks like
head has
Howard.
been
exactly. He's been the only thing that's been devoured is his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks great, and
And his coloring. His
Yeah.
pigmentation and hair have been sucked
and he's got strange wounds all over him, and I think you remarked that they're putting on an anti-portal cream all over his body because he's been
Portal burn.
He's been in contact with portal aliens, and it's like, it's a little bit of vitamin E there, perhaps with St. John's wort, just to calm you down.
Yeah.
it's got a nice aroma.
Yeah.
Yes, it
it's
does.
soothing.
It's really
Soothing on those burns.
Got the
interdimensional aromatherapy.
anti-ectoplasm going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And he's in the S&M bedroom when they're taking care of him.
Yeah, that's where they put him to
Yeah.
rest.
And then
And then at this
Bubba's
point,
like,
Bubba's like, he's laying down an ultimatum. We
he's
are
like,
leaving.
GTFO guys, like you've had your second experience. We're done.
Yeah.
And then
And do they go?
Well,
No.
Well, Bubba starts packing the truck, and when he's down packing the truck, he tells Catherine to get dressed, and she gets dressed by going into the S&M bedroom and like picks
The tickle test.
some heels up with the strap.
She's acting quite odd. She's acting like she almost can't control herself.
She's
like
feeling very sensual.
her pineal gland is just so big now. So she's feeling very sexual, like to the point where she can't control it. She can't stop herself. She's putting all these things on and just
She's got her little
moaning the whole way around.
Her leather corset.
Yeah.
She puts on a trashy ass 1980s BDSM San Francisco level
Yeah.
quality outfit.
she looks great. It's what I cut. This is the kind of pornography I cut my teeth on, and like to me that looks good. That reminds me of discovering myself as a young man. By discovering myself, I mean touching my penis.
She definitely smells the gloves.
Yeah. So even though it is tacky, it's like
Oh, totally.
I'm just sort of.
But I think it's
Yeah,
important
this
to
is
like
80s.
that's
This is
what it's looking
1985.
like.
Yeah.
I found
It's
an
not
old
like, PVC 2000s bondage gear.
Yeah.
You need to picture this,
It's
people.
a thong, which we
Yeah.
called it. That's not really a piece of clothing.
It's a
just-
G-string.
It's something to get poop on.
Yeah.
That's the only thing those things are for.
Comes right up over the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes to a sleeping.
Oh, she
Dr.
yeah.
Dr.
Climb,
Crawford
yeah.
reaches down. We're not sure, touches them, maybe to completion, but I don't know. But definitely tastes her fingers after touching our man
Kind of
Jeffrey.
detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really eats
And then
out.
climbs on top
Climbs
of
on
him.
top of him and starts doing the grind. That's when Bubba comes in.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing?
He comes in and he says, I told you to get dressed.
Okay, so maybe the blatant sexuality's still there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why like, when you were arguing, I'm
Jake's
like,
coming
we'll get to it. I'm like, no.
Jake's coming around. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Bubba like he interrupts.
I told you to get dressed.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she comes after Bubba and
Yeah,
tries to seduce him. And then
At which
he
point he spins her towards a mirror.
and says, "Is this you? Do you want to be like
With
this?"
some,
mirror
some
above
massive
the bed.
slut
I was
shaming
just
going
saying,
on
pulls
here.
up some slut shaming. But hey, sometimes a good slut shame is what you need apparently. When, trans-dimensional demons are fucking with your pineal gland.
But it was also funny. It's like right after she's like, it didn't take long. She's like, I don't know who I am, and
Yeah.
she starts to break down, and it seems like her old self is coming back. She's like, what am I wearing? Kind of, and then
Why are my feet hurt?
yeah, Jeffrey just gets up like.
Well, that's because the machine reconnects itself. Remember, because they pulled
Yeah,
all the plug
yeah,
on the power, it reconnects itself through the power of imagination. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it does. It connects everything, and he can feel it starting up again. Do you
Yeah.
feel that?
Yeah.
So they run
But
back.
he just wakes right up. Was that because of the machine?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He can sense
But he
it.
made the joke that he was actually awake the whole time, and he just liked the lady grunting in his business.
Yes, I'm sleeping. Yes.
Yeah, you get to see one eye open, but they go up and they can't. Why can't they get to it this time? So we had electricity before. We see a more mutated Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah, they don't leave the house. They go back
Yeah,
up.
but they are attacked with interdimensional beasts.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It's
Three-dimensional
bee time.
bees.
Yeah, so they are covered with bees. The bees! And now they're...
And now, well, once again, it's up to Bubba to unplug it. The bees are at this point are only attacking the two doctors. Bubba's left looking around, and he's like, I know he's gonna get
He
something.
uses
What did
like
he
a
grab?
flashlight, and he's like, oh, is the flashlight tracking the bees or what on? So he tries to point it over there, and it scares them away, but they go after him.
Yeah.
Well, he drops it, and then the light's shining right on his face.
He acts as the cord, but like the cord doesn't stop transmitting power because the
keeps going right
transdimensional forces are causing the electricity to course without cords, and then he gets eaten
Yeah.
by bees.
Everywhere but his
Interdimensionally.
face.
Everywhere but his face, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it's a really cheesy, but at the same time awesome effect when his stripped body, like really gory, glistening effects of him
Just eating
stripped
away
down
bones.
everything
and
except,
flesh.
yeah, it's gross. It looks sort of like the tar man from,
Armus
yeah.
from TNG.
No, yeah, that guy, but also from, what was it, Return of the Living Dead? I think that's the one where the guy brains. The first time they start using brains, I can't think of it right now. But Bubba's dead.
Bubba's dead.
Yeah, he doesn't last long after that.
And the resonator's still plugged in
Yeah. So how did she destroy it this time?
with the
sprayed it
fire
with
extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
Which is
At the
He
last
comes back
second.
and says, "You whore!" at one point, I think.
oh yeah, he does. Yeah, the more mutated Dr. Pretorius.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just getting worse and worse and
At
worse
this point,
every time he.
he's like a head on the end of a stalk.
Yeah.
His head on the end of like a half dragon stalk.
How
Yeah,
do you-
and there's like a
How
mound.
did the effects look? Generally.
Amazing.
His speaking, like the facial whatever prosthetic they did, or whatever, like if that was like a puppet.
Well, yeah, I think if I could, I think a lot of it, the far stuff away was like puppets and everything. And once you got close, it was him, but they cut the frame here so you couldn't see. So he was sort of connected backwards to this whole thing,
And then they
and his
just frame
head
it.
was
His
framed.
head was on a stalk.
Yeah, so you can't see it right there.
I thought that it was very effective and
Totally.
very, very good looking for.
It really reminded me of Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. I made that comment. I think I had heard this from someone else too. That this movie is sort of like Hellraiser, directed by David Cronenberg. It's got
Yeah.
those weird,
It's the
sort of
body horror.
interdimensional body horror thing, but it's got way more of a. I don't know. Clive Barker's pretty sex orientated too, but like Cronenberg is. Like this reminded me a lot of the transformation scene from The Thing when the dog turns into the
Yeah.
beast.
Everything's really rubbery looking,
Yeah,
but
gross
in a
and
believable
sinewy
way.
and like sort of like
Waxy.
yeah, like intestines sort of pulsing out and very
Shooting into like
gooey.
yeah.
Moist is the perfect word, love, to describe this thing.
Moist.
A lot of KY jelly.
Oh yeah, a lot of glycerin spray.
So once they've done that,
The machine is temporarily broken by the effects of the fire extinguisher. Inexplicably,
It
it
froze
stops
it or
the,
something,
It
maybe?
stops
Yeah.
the machine from working, and they leave temporarily. And when they come back,
Well, during that, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be jumping ahead, but during that time that the machine's on is when the Dr. Pretorius thing helps Combs' character evolve.
yeah,
Is that when he first sprouts the phallic forehead?
Yeah, the strange little like third eye penis that comes
Yeah.
out of his eyes.
So that's when he's like, I'm helping you evolve, and his brain's like, oh,
Creature
so
that's never existed
Yeah.
before.
So basically, they leave and they go back to the hospital. And
Yeah.
and he still has his little.
yeah, the makeup on you guys agree. The makeup looks really good on Jeffrey.
Amazing.
They did not touch his fucking mouth because they know what we want. We want to see that mouth. Yeah. And they give him like cool little ridges, and the eyeliner's pretty hilarious. But it looks really gooey, and the little prosthetic comes out of it and everything. Like just a good job all around.
Like a really long, like penis tongue coming out of pursed
Yeah.
lips.
It reminded me of like little like slug eye stalks or like lobster eyes. You know, like they're on little stalks. Yeah, it's like one of those coming out of a tiny little vagina.
Yeah, I'm not sure the special
Middle of his
effects
head.
team, but I think they had done quite a bit with Stuart Gordon before, or in the future. He worked with them before, is what I'm trying to say.
The way it waggles around is pretty impressive too. We mentioned also that we've seen the world through this now through.
Oh, that's right. Shit.
And
And
it's
what does
all-
it look like?
It's all technicolored and groovy.
Yeah, it does look like actually the way Geordie sees the world in Star Trek
Yeah, it
Next
does.
Generation. Yeah.
which is just color shifted VHS.
Color shifted VHS, so we were unaware that we were missing this whole other sense, and that sense just happens to look like color shifted VHS. Yeah.
It's almost as if like the Virtual Boy if it had color.
Oh, Virtual Boy, let's talk about it. Who the hell thought that was a good idea?
No one.
Did anyone play that for more than 35 seconds and realize this hurts my face to look into? It hurts my eyes to stare at this? This is dumb.
I remember
Let's make
trying
6 million of them.
I tried one of those at like the P&E, which is our local fair here in
Yeah,
Vancouver,
like
right?
one of those technology
Yeah.
expo things.
And
Right.
those poor bastards that were at that booth, they're like, so what did you think of it? It's only one color. Well, yes, but we can only afford one color. Every single
Well,
8-year-old
if you can
playing
only
that.
do one color,
You shouldn't do it. That is what my 9-year-old self told
yeah,
them.
or don't do it.
Yeah, like don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it then. That's my thought on this.
So, Virtual Boy, check down this.
Yeah, it was a really neat visual perspective, but I didn't know like how did it help him? It almost
know,
looked like it was worse vision.
Everyone was always commenting on how they were seeing things for the first time or what have you. That didn't really convey that, I guess.
We didn't see any
Well,
of
it
the
does co-
monsters
it does
that we
go
saw
along with that.
when he was near the resonator, so that's why I was confused by
Like,
it.
yeah,
If
I
I'm
think-
viewing the other
yeah.
world,
I think they're using C literally here because what we see is that Jeffrey Combs starts to crave human body parts to consume. Like
that's
it's
right,
come
yeah.
along with a body, like a change in appetite.
He's eating brains.
He's eating brains.
We go back to the hospital.
He's
so
longing
we're
something
getting
new,
So
so-
just to get back to it, we go to the hospital because of all this shit that's happened. Bubba's been eaten. Dr. Block can essentially use this as an excuse to have her committed now.
Yeah,
Catherine
has
her committed, yeah.
and sent down the hall for some shock therapy.
Shock therapy.
Instant decision.
Instant
Yeah.
shock therapy. The nurse is like, isn't that illegal or something to that effect? She's like, you're supposed to follow my orders or what have you.
It's
very-
against hospital policy
That's what it is.
to
yeah.
use shock therapy, but they have a full facility that shock therapies you.
Just in
With
case
the
the policy
very-
changes.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want to be like flat-footed.
Exactly. We invested in this a while
future-proof
ago.
therapy.
So she's put away for electrotherapy and electrotherapy therapy.
Surprisingly, much more
Surprisingly.
soothing.
Okay, I'm not smart. But Jeffrey is put away, but he escapes.
Yeah, and he sucks the eyeball out of Nurse
No,
Block's
first
head.
they find him in the path lab.
Yeah, find him in the
Yeah.
pathology lab eating brains. Yeah, eating. I'm assuming.
Crouched over a bucket of brains, and he
Pineal
just happened to
gland.
leave.
Doctor, please don't eat those.
She's like, she tells him, this is the first thing she tells him though, you shouldn't do that because you can get very sick.
Yeah, she says to the man with the space penis growing out of his forehead.
Don't eat those, they may be bad for you.
Yeah, and he sort of shocks.
They're so delicious.
He snaps out of it and.
Momentarily, and what have I done?
What am I doing? Trying to take the blood out of his mouth and everything, and then goes to Jordan LaForge's vision and sees her brain and decides he's
Don't
gonna do the logical thing. He's gonna suck out her left eyeball
And then eat her brains.
and then suck out her brains.
It was funny though because he starts sucking on her eyeball and she gives a little bit of a fight.
Yeah.
And he knees her in the stomach and her eyeball pops out.
Oh my God, I
So that he
forgot
can
about that.
continue on.
Super goofy.
Oh, that's where the eyeball's connected through the stomach.
I just needed to give it a little juice down there.
Don't hit him too hard. You can pop his
I
eyeball.
wish there would have been on a boing soundtrack when he kneed her. Boing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was great.
There's wind chimes.
So Jeffrey has now developed a taste for this, and he's on the prowl. This fully gives him a hunger for human brains. So she's prepared for shock treatment. They're just about to give her the business when it comes.
Doctor, come quick.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, but I'm just about. Well, you're gonna have to take her back to her cell, lock her in a
Yeah.
room, then come.
We could have just left her there.
Yeah, she's already tied to a table.
But it wouldn't have proceeded the plot. Allow the plot to go forward. When releasing her, she hits him over the head with some medical equipment.
No, with the light.
Oh, with the big light stand thing up top there. Yeah, and she gets out and she runs away. And so where are we after that?
She steals the ambulance that brought in the drunk and Jeffrey eats the orderly that's bringing in the drunk from the ambulance, and one of the other nurses that comes in to help because he's in full human flesh consumption mode.
Yeah, gotta get them brains.
Then the drunk guy like points his fingers like, no, you ate them, you ate them.
Yeah, so she escapes in an ambulance. Hefe also steals an ambulance and they go back to the house, of course. Because why not? They didn't have any other places to film.
She wants to destroy the machine for all time, and
So she goes back with what did you say? An Acme bomb. Or
Oh,
something.
that's right. Yeah, she's literally like she ordered it or bought it from Wile E. Coyote. It's like dynamite with
8 sticks.
with a comical timer on it and some wires coming out of it. Yeah, adorable. Yeah. So they both go there, but Jeffrey grabs her. Grabs her, attacks her, and in the ensuing struggle, she bites off his space penis.
Yep.
In his form.
Now, hold on a second. When he does tie her up, he's
that's
like, he's kind of losing his mind again, and yes, he wants the brains, but he's also starting to talk kind of like his predecessor.
Yeah,
Pretorius,
he's
where
saying things like, he's always here.
and we're gonna be together forever. I want you to come with me forever. So he proceeds to start to suck her brain out through her eyeball. So then it's like, are they trying to say that all the brains he consumes become a part of him?
Yeah, I think he's just got a crave for the human brains and those things, and because he's got the fully enlarged pineal gland, he doesn't have much control over it.
Yeah.
So she bites it off, essentially,
Yeah.
returning him back to himself at this point. Yeah, bites off the gland. But then the doctor comes back, and he's completely mutated at this
Yeah.
point. Just a big gloopy glob, looking very much like Tetsuo.
Tetsuo!
The Akira virus. Very gross. And so they struggle, and Dr. Pretorius ends up eating Jeffrey's head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the same way that Pretorius is.
Twists it off. It looks
twisted it right up.
It looks super awesome. Yeah, and there's all sorts of leeches and shit like that. So we think that basically Crawford is left alone to do what he wants with the doctor, but then we see what I think is the best special effects moment. We see a hand come out of the creature's mouth and start opening it, and Jeffrey Combs emerges from the creature, all going, it's fucking amazing.
It's like
And he tells her to run.
Yeah, he tells her to run.
But she doesn't. She just lays there whimpering.
Goopy and awesome. And then the creature emerges from Jeffrey.
And they have like this total like
it's like a birth
Yeah,
canal.
and then Jeffrey comes to his arm through again, and it's this weird quivering mass of they're sort of coming in and out of each other.
Trying to fight each other in the
Super gross.
When there's just two, and at the end it's just like two skulls that are like on like skeletal stalks, like sort of like fighting
eating each other.
They've essentially fucked up. We've got 10 seconds left till the bomb. So what she got to do?
She jumps through the window at the very last second.
3-story window. We're like, oh great, typical Hollywood movie. Someone jumps from a 3-story window, and nothing bad happens, right, Jake?
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
She hits the ground, and both of her knees are
Her shins are
shins.
shoved
Yeah,
in through her knees.
popped out.
It is. We don't see it. We see the aftermath. It is fucking horrifying.
Yeah. I think one leg was fine, wasn't it?
No, they were both
like
broken,
that.
yeah.
But
And
if
then
you see
Bunny
the
and Bunny
bone-
come by.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bunny and Bunny.
And come over. Bunny is holding Bunny, and at first she looks at oh dear, what has happened? Oh my God! And looks down at her knees.
Totally. Amazing. And then she basically starts laughing hysterically. It ate him and starts doing the crazy laugh. And cut to black. From beyond. From beyond. Any sort of favorite moments, guys, about this movie? I'm assuming we all seem to generally enjoy it when we're watching it. Anything that really stuck out?
I like Bubba's outline.
Oh, he's got the outline because he was like a puddle.
Yeah.
The chalk outline was like almost puddly. It was super cool.
I love the
Little
first face peeling.
Oh yeah, when you just see
because
the muscles.
Well, you see it from the side, and as the face peels off, it's a real homage to Cthulhu with this like tentacle face coming out of the man's silhouette. Which are just,
That was super cool.
Can we go back to I just thought about that. Who did the outline of Bubba?
I know there was no investigation.
There's no
between
investigation into his death that we
We're gonna
saw.
write on IMDb.
Well, there's a question I have.
That's the question.
Well, who took them to the hospital though?
After
Right, because
experiment 2.
because both of them woke up in the hospital. That's when they were going to do the shock therapy.
Right.
I don't remember.
So the cops must have they presumably showed up at the house and took Bubba's dissolved corpse away.
After chalking.
Yeah, after chalking.
This is going to be a tough one.
Mad Attack? Anything that you're particularly
The face of Edward, what's his nuts? Was like on the monster. It's just so well done. Just so well done. It really I was surprised that they could do that in the 80s and have it be that effective. And the effects I think in general were just my favorite parts. Like I loved how gory, how liquid, how moist everything was.
Yeah, how moist everything was. Bunny, did you say one?
I liked the end scene where they were fighting, like repeatedly coming in and out.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah.
Birthing out of each other.
Yeah.
Again, like the whole thing was just so many penises and orifices, and it was almost actually kind of Giger-esque. Mine just like all the black, like mechanical. It was just penises and vaginas everywhere. That could be saying something more about myself than it does.
It's sort of like the Bible. How you read it says more about you than it does the Bible.
Exactly.
Getting a little political here.
Ooh.
So I would have to agree that's probably my favorite part of the end scene. So a general rating out of 5. What do you think we should rate this out of?
How many Bubba outlines?
How many Bubba outlines? Perfect. So out of 5 Bubba outlines, we'll start with you, Mad Attack.
I give it 4.5 out of 5. It's a really
Okay.
solid flick. I would watch that or show that to someone else again.
Yeah. Okay.
I also give it a 4.5 out of 5 for the outlines.
I give it 4. It's enjoyable, it's watchable, good effects, but I feel like there was one too many trips back to the machine.
Yeah.
Like maybe one or two too many. Where at one point you're like, for fuck's sake, like stop it, stop turning the machine on. Not everyone was crazy. Like after even the second one, that's when you're like, and we're leaving now. We're done. Like no sane person stays there, and Bubba was the sanest. So at least
even
he
though
should've got
there was
himself
sort
out.
of the conceit that they were sort of affected by the pineal gland and sort of craving it, it just sort of pissed you off that they kept going back over and over again.
Well, yeah, I mean, because Combs' character seemed to indicate that he didn't want to go back.
Well, not the first time, yeah.
Right?
He
So
just didn't want to go to the
he'd already
living
been
bin.
affected, so he kind of demonstrated that even though you've been affected, you still have a certain amount of reason.
Yeah, fair
Right?
enough.
And again, and then Bubba, right? Bubba could have left. He could
Yeah.
have been like, forget this, I'm going back to the police station, or any number of options that were just.
You'd need a police station to go to.
That's true. That's true.
We can't afford that set.
Yeah. Dick?
I give it same as Bunny there. I'm gonna go with 4 outlines out of 5, and my reason is along the same lines as Bunny. Like I realized the movie wasn't intended to flow perfectly, but there were a few times where even suspending my disbelief was a bit hard.
Yep.
It's like, okay, come on, you guys have already covered this. All we have to do is flick this switch. There was one point, I think it was when she turned it on in the night. Combs' character comes up, he's standing right by the switch for quite some time, and then she gets grabbed, and all of a sudden it's a hostage situation when all he's got to do is turn off the switch.
Yeah, I would
And
agree.
they all disappear. But I mean, I understand they needed to flow into the rest of the movie to find, but there was just a few moments that kind of took me out of it. It made me more frustrated than it
It's not
did.
plot holy.
Yeah, a little bit. But all in all, from start to finish, the effects were a lot of fun. It was actually gross at times, particularly the knees through. That was actually like, I cringe. I'm like, that would probably happen if you landed feet first. So 4.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't usually give half measures, so I'd say 4. It kind of spin this wheel a little bit, but it's a really awesome, like horror film. Probably one of. I think you guys like it more than Re-Animator?
I did.
Yes.
I think
So,
it flows way better than
I was gonna say before we started that I do enjoy this a lot more than Re-Animator, but I wanted to see what you guys thought.
So, I might demote my scoring down to a 4 from
Okay.
4.5, just because I thought it was a little more rapey than it needed to be as well.
Yeah.
Little-
That seems to be.
Is there a situation where more rapey is okay?
Maybe if I guess the rapiness contributed to the horror, but I felt like at certain points it was.
So many glycerin covered penises.
So it became a trope at a certain point for me.
Okay, sounds great. So
How Jeffrey was
everyone's
Jeffrey.
favorite part. How Jeffrey was Jeffrey in this one? So was he a 1 being frightmare, 2 being sort of frighteners? Or sorry, like a 1 or a 10 being frighteners? Or sort of I don't know numbers.
I'd say that he was 10 out of 10 because he was just he was face acting the shit out of every little space.
You guys all agree that we're looking at Peak Jeff here?
Yeah.
I think we said Peak Jeffrey a
Jeffrey.
couple times.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Jeff.
I can't believe
Very
the
different.
shit that's entered our Burnett.
Right from the very, very first scene when he's got the pencil in his mouth, man.
All right, yeah. He's great. Yeah,
His hair's perfect.
He doesn't slow down. He only
Yeah.
gets more and more intense.
He's really selling it. It almost sets a new standard. You would think it'd be the best if you hadn't seen The Frighteners and how he just fucking brings it on that one. Yeah, but this is Jeffrey at peak Jeffrey powers.
Peak
Peak
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey powers. Okay, do I have any trivia here? Let me see. I don't think I really do, but I got some interesting
Yeah.
questions to ask. Yeah, the H.P. Lovecraft story on which this film is based, it's only 7 pages long. That's pretty much a Stuart Gordon thing, though. It's like they're loose interpretations. He just puts the Lovecraft name on there and uses the same title, but they don't really have much in common. Like the Re-Animator didn't have much except for a few names and what have you. Oh, another shout out, Miskatonic University.
Oh, right.
Miskatonic Medical Center.
And,
Oh,
and the name Dr. Pretorius is
Yeah.
straight out of
Yeah, it sounds very
Lovecraftian.
Lovecraftian. Yeah. Actually, Dr. Pretorius' character is named after Dr. Septimus Pretorius, Henry Frankenstein's former teacher, who seduces Henry to the dark side. Ooh. And you were right, we noticed this. The address of the house was 666 Benevolent Street.
Benevolent Street.
Benevolent
I didn't
Street,
notice that.
Yeah.
Better than Malevolent Street.
Yeah, apparently there was a scene where Dr. Pretorius hammered a nail through an unwilling victim's tongue, but that was taken out, so good. We didn't have to watch that. That's gross. Oh, we did notice what did we notice when the doors opened on the hospital there, Matt? The sound when the hospital doors
Oh,
opened?
it sounds like Star Trek.
Yeah, it's the Star
doors.
Trek. I looked it up. It is the Star Trek, the original series door sound.
And they do it once again for like not a sliding door, but like an opening door.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why does it?
And if I remember correctly, that sound by a Foley artist is just a middle envelope and paper taking it out. That's how they make the Star Trek sound. I think it's slightly processed. Could be talking out my ass, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Hey, okay, Boo, do you want to come back here?
I'm done.
We got some questions here. All right, so it's time for the questions from IMDb. We got some great ones. Okay, so this one is titled, Am I the Only Weirdo That Noticed This? Yeah, so I was watching From Beyond last night with a friend of mine, and I noticed something in the movie that caught my devilish eye. And I am a chick, so I'm going to have to ask any other chicks, and guys too, I suppose, if they notice this. The scene where Jeffrey Combs' character runs into the basement to shut the power off, and he comes across the huge... Did I say Combs?
You did.
Shit!
And we can go to the recording.
Yeah, damn it. All right. When Jeffrey Combs' character runs into the basement to shut the power off, and he comes across the huge, heinous, worm-like creature, he leaps over and falls into the water. Well, when he comes up with his pants are sticking to him, and oh yes, I could for a blink of an eye see his luscious ass shot. Not nude, of course, but still, it was very nice. Anyone else notice this, or am I the only sicko that caught this because I'm constantly checking out nice-looking people? So, apparently I'm not the only guy who has a creepy, or a girl who has a creepy obsession with Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, that's terrible.
Damn it!
What?
See, when I get comfortable,
It's supposed to keep you uncomfortable.
yeah, when I get comfortable, I totally fall back into it. But it's weird. I share traits with someone on the internet. Is that a good thing?
I mean, I noticed Bubba's cock outline in his tiny
Oh
little...
yeah, he does wear those times.
Well, he came out in his thread
Yeah,
speedos
he
or
came out of
whatever.
the water and
His
it
nut
was-
huggers.
I just thought that was
There's some taint here.
I just thought that was a very strange and long-winded thing to talk about seeing a man's ass and wet chinos. Very weird.
It was a good leap though. That leap over the worm was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, here's our final question. This movie is racist, I guess is the comment. When Dr. Pretorius comes back from beyond, he wants Dr. Tillinghast, Jeffrey Combs, to touch him so badly, but he doesn't seem keen on being touched by Bubba, who has a far buffer body than Tillinghast. Thoughts?
That's fair. That's
Is that
fair.
racist?
Fair.
Yeah. Super racist. Okay, there we go. That was easy. Thought they'd go somewhere. So any sort of recommendations? Obviously, we touched on the special effects, the actors, the dialogue was funny at times. The movie
Videodrome.
dragged. Yeah, kind of Videodrome. Yeah, it does have
Yeah.
a very Cronenberg thing. The music was out of place, but okay. Any parallels to the other movies? Obviously, because it's Stuart Gordon, it's got those parallels and the sort of the way he films movies and films dialogue and everything. But did you guys see any other parallels to the movies we watched, other than that Jeff's in it? Our man Jeff?
You know, I felt like a lot of the horror themes were reused, you know, like the creepy yet sexy yet funny, like a little, but it was less slapstick for me than Re-Animator.
Totally, yeah. It's less goofy, I
Yeah.
think, than Re-Animator, no question. Although there's some goofy elements.
Yeah.
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 It was more of a serious horror film.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
dialogue isn't quite as goofy as Re-Animator.
No.
The dialogue in this plays it a lot more straight.
Yeah, totally. You guys have any recommendations? Any movies at all that you've seen recently that you wanted to talk about?
I just recently watched John Dies at the End.
Oh, John dies at the end. What kind of movie is
Whether or
that?
not I recommend it, I don't know. It was good. Check it out once, see what you think. It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's odd.
I don't recommend a movie. I watched half of Young Adult with Charlize Theron
I
yesterday.
actually really like it.
No, really?
I just found it really depressing.
Oh, it's super depressing,
It's
yeah.
super depressing, and I was just sort of like, oh, that's not what I want to feel like. But I almost just didn't even care. So I was just like, no, I turned it off, and I rarely do that. Don't watch it.
Patton Oswalt? Is he in that? Yeah,
He
you
is,
got it
he
right.
is, but
It's a big downer of a movie though.
Yeah?
If you really want to watch a downer, it's a good
Uh-huh.
good downer.
That'll
here we
be
go.
good.
Yeah.
Matt, did you watch anything recently, Matt, you can think of? I know we have babies. It's hard to sort of keep track of these
Well,
things.
we just watched season 3 of Suits and loved it.
Suits, what's that?
It's a show about lawyers, corporate lawyers that do corporate lawyer things. It's actually surprisingly good.
The dialogue is ace. It's funny and smart.
Good characterizations, good casting.
So we watched that second Hunger Games finally.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's basically
a copy.
It's
It's
basically a
copy.
rehash of the first one.
Beat for beat, like
That
the
makes
first
sense,
movie.
yeah.
It's a copy. It's literally. Oh my god! You literally copied.
I don't even know why they bothered because like the content of the movie is maybe only 20% different, and they just needed an excuse to like
Let's put it in the jungle.
we're gonna rehash the CG from the last movie and do it
Exactly.
with different shaders
What do
and
you
lighting,
mean?
and then
Are you saying that the film is changed in such a way to make it similar to the other ones? Like the book isn't as similar?
I haven't read the books, but I feel like there isn't enough content there. I think it sounds like having read the outline of what the books do, I
Right.
think they could probably do the whole thing in 2 movies instead of
Four. Did
Four,
you hear
yeah.
that they're splitting up the last book into 2?
yeah.
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 Sometimes.
It's just obviously probably just to get asses in the seat, but that seems ridiculous. This one has a. I thought actually I didn't think the acting was better. What am I saying? Like,
No, it wasn't.
The main
any better.
character
It was
is sort of
identical. It
bland
was the same.
and sort of like pale.
Angsty.
I said pale face, blank face through like the whole thing. It's not very good. Even Jennifer Lawrence, who is a good actress, is not very good in that.
It's hard to act a badly written character.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, hey guys, anything else you want to talk about? Our next movie is going to be Cyclone, which I don't know if it's a Stuart Gordon film, but it definitely has Jeffrey Combs in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Is it about Cyclone?
No, I think it's about. I couldn't think of anything, Woody. I don't know what it's about.
Hurricanes.
Yeah, it's
about hurricanes.
Yeah, it's a misnomer.
That guy might not be there for this one as his
Oh,
parents are in town.
I'm
okay.
allergic to the
So we'll have
following
to
wind.
see who's here, but I guess that
Cyclone.
just leaves all of us to sign off. My name is Jamie. Oh, before we sign off, you can contact us at finetoothpodcast@gmail.com. My name is Jamie. My voice sounds like this.
My name's Matt. My voice sounds like this.
My name's Janine. My voice sounds like this.
My name's Bunny. My voice sounds like this.
And I'm Jake. My voice sounds like this.
Goodbye.
Bye.